In this video, you enter 7, 8, 9, 10.
Here, go ahead. In this video, what? You don't want to do it anymore?
No.
Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be replacing the window on my Jeep Gladiator here. If you're new here, welcome to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Is it just me, or is this window way cleaner than the rest of them? So recently, I have ran into some bad luck when it comes to windows. First, it was my windshield in a windstorm. It is all pitted and cracked. And then just a couple of days later, the passenger side rear window here was knocked out. So today, I'm going to show you guys how to replace it. So I was shopping around for quotes on replacing the door window here, and I got a large range of quotes, anywhere from $250 all the way up to $500. Either way it goes, I feel that's a little steep, considering you can order this window for about $100. I'll go ahead and leave a link to this window down in the description below. The same person on Amazon that sells these sells all the rest of them. Anyway, since the window was only $100, I went ahead and ordered it. It only took a couple of days to come in, and today I'm going to show you guys how to install it. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is remove our door panel here. So what holds this door panel on is 4 screws as well as a bunch of clips that go into the door. You're going to have those 4 screws. There's going to be one here, one over here off to the right, one down here on the bottom, and one here next to the door handle. Now the one behind the door handle is actually covered up by a little panel. Right at the top of the panel, there is a notch. You can just reach up in there with a pick, and it should just pop out about that easy. Now, the 4 screws that hold the door panel on are Torx. You're going to have 2 T30s, one behind the door handle here, and one up underneath this grab handle here. And then you're going to have 2 that are T30s. That's going to be the one on the bottom, as well as the one right over here. And then once those are removed, all you need is a good trim removal tool. If you don't have any of these, I will go ahead and leave links down in the description below. I feel like these have come in handy for almost every project I've done with this Jeep so far. Not gonna lie, they are tight and it was a little jarring, but I did get them all loose. And then you should just be able to lift on up, and then it is mostly removed, and I'll show you guys the next step right now. So the next thing you need to do is remove these 2 cables right here. This bottom one is your door handle cable. This actually goes from the door handle all the way to the latch. And then the one up here is the door lock. This is the one that actuates the lock at the latch. The door lock is relatively easy to remove. You should just be able to pop it out of that slot right there, just like so. And then you can manipulate the cable around. There is a notch, and you should just be able to pop it right out like so. Now the door handle cable is a little more difficult. You do have to squeeze the plastic right here. That way it can fit through that slot, and then once again, you whip it around and do the same thing as the lock mechanism. I'm not going to show you guys this one because it is extremely difficult for me to hold the camera and do it at the same time, but it is relatively easy. So now that we've got to here, if you are just removing an existing window, it is not necessary to remove this panel right here. But if your glass is completely knocked out, the only way to remove what's left is to take this panel off. So in order to do so, you are actually going to have 9 of these 10mm bolts right here on this inner door panel piece. And then you're also going to want to remove the one that holds the door strap to the door. And while we're at it, in order to give us some more room, let's go ahead and pop this off right here. And then this here is the door strap. We're just going to lift that up and leave it loose to give us a little bit more room. Then with all of those done, we actually want to take our T30 and remove these 3 as well. Now from right here, it'll be good to try to position the base of the window about halfway in the door. Just kind of guesstimate. You can also pull this little piece right here, and it will give you a good indication on where the bottom of the window is, because right here, this is the bottom of the window. And then with a little bit of manipulation, you should be able to pull it loose enough that you can reach on in there and clean and remove any debris, as well as remove this bottom piece of the window right here. And right in here, there is a 10 millimeter. Just back that off and you should be able to remove that bottom piece. And then this here is what that bottom piece would look like. Now, it's not absolutely necessary to completely remove that bolt. In fact, it will be easier to install if you just back it out quite a bit without completely removing it. So now we need to remove this window guide piece right here. All this trim needs to come out before we can put the new window in. As well as there's glass trapped in here, so removing this will make it a lot easier to clean all of that glass out of all of these little channels. So we're going to start by removing this piece right here. It should just pry right up. You should just be able to peel it and have it come right out just like that. And then next, we actually need to remove this window right here. We will kind of pry it out, and then the rest of everything will just come with it. And in order to do that, we're going to remove this 10 millimeter right here. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I did forget this outer piece here. It should just lift up and off as well. Might take a little bit of force, but we can knock that up and out of the way and free. Now we can go ahead and slide this window out. You should just be able to grab onto it, give it a little persuasion. And slowly work it. And you should just be able to slowly work it. Be extra careful. And then once it is kind of down and out of the way, we can go ahead and peel the rest of this off carefully. And just like that, it is all out. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning up all of my glass. I still have some glass in here as well as in the door. And then I will get right back with you guys after I'm done running the shop vac. Alright, so I've got all my broken glass cleaned up. And now it's time to go ahead and reinstall this panel the same way that we removed it. Just go ahead and tighten all your bolts down. Make sure everything's lined up carefully. And then we'll go ahead and I'll show you guys how the glass goes in. Alright, so if you haven't already, now would be a good time to try to position your bolt right here. In order to do this, you can roll up your window or down your window, however you actually need it to go. But once again, this bolt here, just make sure that it's in there. It doesn't have to be tight. And this is actually how you're going to set your window in place, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So this here is the new window, and all we're going to do is slowly guide it down and go ahead and set this on that bolt down there. Be extra careful as you're guiding it in. You don't want to accidentally drop it. You don't want to make any mistakes, because then you've got to clean up your glass all over again and order a new window. So I'm going to slowly guide this in, trying not to scratch it, and then I'll move on to the next step. So now that our window is set in place, what we're going to want to do is slowly roll it all the way down. That way we can go ahead and put all our trim and stuff back in here. So now that our window is kind of set in place, we want to start by guiding our small window in and making sure that our new window actually goes through these guides right here. So we're just going to slowly set it on in. And then just work it back in place ever so gingerly, the way that it came out. And then with that in place, we need to go ahead and do the same with our other side. You can just kind of slide it all the way down next to the window there, and then bring it back up into the edges of the door. And with everything lined up there, we can go ahead and reinsert the pieces right here that go in these channels. And they should just press right in. And then don't forget this bolt right here. Just go ahead and slap that on in there. But be careful because obviously you are dealing with a window and you want to be careful. Now with all that done, we want to go ahead and carefully and slowly raise up the window. Just go ahead and turn the ignition on and keep tapping that button ever so gingerly until we are able to access that bolt down here in this hole. The reason why you want to leave it loose up to this point is because it makes it a whole lot easier to get your guides in, as well as if you tighten it down and then you cram all this down and you go to put your window up, it's going to be in a bind and chances are it's going to shatter. And now that we have access to this bolt, we can go ahead and tighten it on down. Now that everything's all completed, just go ahead and run your window up and down a few times just to make sure everything fits properly and everything is nice and seated. And at this point, we can just go ahead and reinstall our door panel. Yes, buddy.
Daddy,
Yeah?
after when I go grandma's, I did a few at home.
You stay with me at home after brother went to grandma's? When?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's a speedo flow.
Oh.
And again, our food.
Can I have a hug? Love you. Were you good for grandma today?
Yeah.
So that is it. We are all done and installed. Now all we need to do is reinstall the door panel in reverse order that we removed it. Do not forget your cables, otherwise you won't be able to lock or open your door from the inside. So just like that, I am officially done, and it is painfully obvious that I need to clean the rest of my windows now because this one here is just so clean. And I'm sure it'll only be a matter of time before there's tiny little fingerprints all over the inside of it. But that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe down there. You can check me out on Instagram. You can check me out on Instagram at It's Project Venture, as well as the Tickety Talk at It's Project Venture. Thanks for watching. You want to do my outro?
Yeah. I want to do it like you did.
Right.
Just a warning, I was in the film.
Yeah, I know.
Do it.
right.
You do it.
Go ahead.
Do it.
What do you say? Give me your outro.
I don't know.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
Follow me.
Thank you for watching this channel.
Follow me on
That's why you need fresh.
TikTok
Good luck.
and
All right.
Facebook.
Have fun with Dada.
Bye. Now, that is a mighty fine man in that window.
I agree.